Ah. Oh, God. Oh. This is much better than doing it like when it's dark out. Freaking Khan Academy is like eye straining when it's dark out, dude. It's low-key ridiculous. I guess we just begin. Alright. Let's pick up where... Actually, hold on. Let me call buddies. Hold on, let me call buddies. Biddy won't be able to join. I don't know who can join. But let's just pick up where we left off here. Let's get a little bit of review from last time. Reasonable limit is actually approaches -3. That is going to be... What the hell? -5.3, yeah. Which limit expressions agree with the graph? We got x approaching -1 from the right. -1 from the right is 6. That agrees. X approaches -5 from the left. It's gotta be -2. That's wrong. X approaches 4. General limit is -5. Hell no. Yo ass tweaking, G. What? Wait. What? -5 from the left. It's -2. X approaches 4. -5. Oh, my dumb ass looked at -4. Yeah. Boom. Okay. Just gotta not rush. We cannot rush, team. The function g is defined over real numbers. The table gives 2 values. Reasonable estimate for limit as x approaches 1. As x approaches 1, there's not one. Because it jumps. Boom. Reasonable estimate for limit x approaches 5. Just the general limit? -2. Boom. Function g is defined over real numbers. Is a table appropriate for approximating limit as x approaches 4? It's appropriate. I'd say so. What is reasonable limit as x approaches -7 from the right? From the right? I mean, that's unbounded, ain't it? Yeah. Oh, it's like we never left. It's like we never left. That's just a little bit of warm-up. Alright, limit properties. Pause this music. Limit properties. Let's go. I've already watched this. Oh, you know what? I took notes on it. Gang. Hold on. I remember this now. From last time. We're going to take notes on freaking everything. We're that desperate here. We're going to get a fresh pencil and everything. Listen to this. Oh. Pencil out of the sleeve. So. Oh, my desk is like a mess right now. I think that might show my mental state with this exam. Maybe. With how much of a goddamn mess this desk is. But I digress. So. Basically. Well, there's the adding and subtracting property. So f of x minus f of x plus g of x. You can just add the limits. That's easy. Multiplication. You can just multiply limits. That's easy. For exponents, you can just put the exponent on the outside. Take the limit first, and take the exponent. That's light. Now we're in new territory. Or I guess not. I guess we watched this on the last stream, but
let's find the limit of f of x times h of x as x approaches 0. All right, we have.
Hold on, let's do this. All right, so for f of x approaches 0. That's going to be -1, and then times h of x approaches 0. It's going to be 1. So it's going to be -1.
Graphical. Let's notice.
Let's just see.
1.
Are we right?
0. We are the function. Back.
Oh, I'm so good. All right, hold on. Let's do this.
Using our limit properties, this is going.
All right, h of x is x approaches 0. H of x is going to be 4. and then g of x is going to be 0. That's going to be 0. That's going to be 0, gang.
As x, so this that graph
Does not exist. Yeah, I'm sorry. Does not exist.
you would see it even clearer that that limit does
Alright,
not
yeah, that's
exist.
like
You'd
that
actually
also
be able to see
applies
it
for
graphically.
quotients. Let me. Ooh. Also for divide. Alright. Another video. We are just really taking this in here.
We are asked to find these 3 different limits.
Oh, this is light. It tries to make it look so confusing and stressful, but it's light. I feel no stress. X approaches -2. F of x as it approaches -2 is... Ooh. That's the general limit. Low-key, I forget what to do when there's 2. Yikes!
I encourage you, like always, pause this video.
I
and
forget
try to
what to
it
do
yourself
when there's
before we
2.
do it
It's
together.
been a while since I reviewed.
So when you do this first one, you might
Is
just
that
try to find the
horrible?
limit as x approaches -2 of f of x, and then the limit as x approaches -2 of g of x, and then add those 2 limits together. But you will quickly find a problem. Because when you find the limit as x approaches -2 of f of x, it looks as we are approaching -2 from the left, it looks like we're approaching 1. As we approach x equals -2 from the right, it looks like we're approaching 3. So it looks like the limit as x approaches -2 of f of x doesn't exist. And the same thing's true of g of x. If we approach from the left, it looks like we're approaching 3. If we approach from the right, it looks like we're approaching 1. But it turns out that this limit can still exist. As long as the limit as x approaches -2 from the left of the sum,
It's
f of
the
x plus g
same.
of x,
So
exists and is equal to the limit as x approaches -2 from
the
the right,
right.
of the sum, f of x plus g of x. So what are these things? Well, as we approach -2 from the left, f of x is approaching, looks like 1, and g of x is approaching 3. So it looks like we're approaching 1 and 3, so it looks like this is approaching, the sum is going to approach 4. And if we're coming from the right,
You gotta do them separate. That's genius.
f of x looks like it's
Okay.
approaching 3, and g of x looks like it is approaching 1. And so once again, this is equal to 4. And since the left and right-handed limits are approaching the same thing, we would say that this limit exists, and it is equal to 4.
All right. Let's do the rest of these. Team, rest of these. Come on. We're locked. All right. X.
Now let's do
All right. X approaches 1. F of x. From the left, there's 2, and from the left, this one's the same, so it's 1. So 2 plus 1. From the left is 3. Now from the right, -1, 1, 0. There's no limit. Does
this
not
next
exist.
example.
They're not the
As
same.
x
They're not the
approaches
same.
1,
They're not the same.
exists. Well, for f of x, as we're so we'll do the same drill.
All right. Finally. All right. Let's see here.
Limit as
That's approaching 1 again. So we already have our numbers. We have approaching 1, 2. They're both times 0, so it's going to be 0.
x approach
So there's no limit.
from the right and the right, it is equal to.
Oh no, it can be 0. I'm stupid. It can be 0. Good to know. Alright, here we go. We apply what we learned. Oh, I'm so ready. Alright, f of x minus g of x as approaches 2. Just the general thing. Okay. So approaching, actually there's only 1 point at each, so we can just do approaching 2, it's 0 there, and it's 3 there. So -3 for the left. And then from the right it's going to be the same, so it's -3. Boom. Oh dear, final limit. As x approaches -3. Half. What? Half of h of x? Ooh, this is like basic shit, I'm sure. I know I'm cooked, bro. I'm so cooked. We just learned u substitution for integrals. And the exam's tomorrow. Okay. -3. Oh, wait, I'm dumb. It's just half the answer. Just half the answer. So, x approaches -3, 4, 2. Ooh. Alright. Alright. X approaches 3, h of x minus g of x. Alright. These are different things now. Actually, just h does. So h from the left is 2, 2 minus 2, 0, 0 from the left, and then 5 minus 2, 3 from the right. There's no limit. It does not exist. Okay. Now we approaching 1 for f of x from the left. 3, 1, 3 plus 1, 4 from the left. From the right, 1, 3, 4. Both the same. 4. Okay. We're ready, team. We're ready. We're ready. Oh god. It's not garden warfare, so nobody's watching. The clickbaiting with garden warfare only goes so far. I mean, it's not even clickbait. I said we're not playing anything today. Because I ain't playing. Alright. F times G. Alright, approach is 2, 0 times 2. 0. Approach is 1 and divide. From the left, 4 divided by 1, 4. And then 3 divided by 1, 3. Limit doesn't exist. Boom. Alright, approach is 3. G. There's 3. And then 3 over 0. I mean, that doesn't exist. Yes, bro. Oh. Okay. G times F. A little bit of a trickster here. Alright, let's see here. From the left, we're going to have a little bit of 1 times 0, 0. They're both going to be times 0, so they're both 0. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. We're up next video. How y'all doing today, boys? Just saying. Ooh, composite functions. I forgot about these entirely.
In this video, we're going to try to understand limits of composite functions, or at least a way of thinking about limits of composite functions. And in particular, we're going to think about the case where we're trying to find the limit as x approaches a of f of g of x.
F of g of x, yeah.
And we're going to
that's
see
rough.
under certain circumstances, this is going to be equal to f of.
I'm pretty sure what you do for this is you find the limit of the inner function. And then I think you plug it in to the old one. I think.
The limit as x approaches a of g of x. And what are those circumstances you are asking? Well, this is going to be true if and only if two things are true. First of all, this limit needs to exist. So the limit as x approaches a.
Don't mind any of what you just saw. Don't mind any of what you just saw.
So that needs to exist. And then on top of that, the function f needs to be continuous at this point.
Ooh,
and
good call.
F continuous.
Good call.
At L. So let's look at some examples and see if we can apply this idea, or see if we can't.
So I don't use A, I use C.
Here
so
I have two functions that are graphically.
So if I say C instead of A, like here, I apologize. Good luck on your exam. Thank you, Ali Muhammad Mahmoud Musa. That is Ali Muhammad Mahmoud Musa. Applause. Let me think. I need to write down notes here. G of X equals F. The limit of G of X, X approaches C. Yeah, it was right.
Presented right over here. Let me make sure I have enough space for
yeah, I saw that.
And
that actually got on stream, by the way.
Left-hand
for
side
a
is
split
our
second.
function f, and what we see on the right-hand side is our function g. So first, let's figure out what is the limit as x approaches -3 of f of g of x. Pause this video and see, first of all, does this theorem apply? And if
let's see if this theorem applies. So first we gotta find g of x as x approaches -3. Ooh, does that count as a discontinuity? I forget. Let's see what he does.
It does apply. What is this limit? So the first thing we need to see is, does this theorem apply? So first of all, if we were to find the limit as x approaches -3 of g of x, what is that? Well, when we're approaching -3 from the right, it looks like our function is actually at 3. It looks like when we're approaching -3 from the left, it looks like our function is at 3. So it looks like this limit is 3.
Yes.
Even though that value, g of -3 is -2, but it's a point discontinuity. As we approach it from either side, the value of the function is at 3.
discontinuities aren't really discontinuities.
3.
Got it.
So it exists
Got
when
it.
we meet that first condition. And then the second question is our function f continuous at this limit, continuous at 3? So when x equals 3, yeah, it looks like at that point our function is definitely continuous. And so we could say that this limit is going to be the same thing as this equals f of the limit as x approaches -3 of g of x. Close the parentheses. And we know that this is equal to 3, and we know that f of 3 is going to be equal to -1. So this met the conditions for the theorem, and we were able to use the theorem to actually
that doesn't seem too bad. Doesn't seem too bad at all. Oh, this is when they aren't met.
In a previous video, we used this theorem to evaluate certain types of composite functions. In this video, we'll do a few more examples that get a little bit more involved. So let's say we wanted to figure out the limit as x approaches.
So this is old shit. I still have to review new shit too, because freaking we like just finished like integrals, dude, and I'm so pissed. I faintly get integrals. Faintly. We just did the fundamental theorems of calculus, boys. Like freaking like a week, not even a week ago. It's horrible.
0 of f of g of x. F of g of x. First of all, pause this video and think about whether this theorem even applies. Well, the first thing to think about is what is the limit as x approaches 0 of g of x, to see if we meet this first condition. So if we look at g of x right over here, as x approaches 0 from the left, it looks like g is approaching 2. As x approaches 0 from the right, it looks like g is approaching 2. And so it looks like this is going to be equal to 2. So that's a check. Now let's see the second condition. Is f continuous at that limit, at 2? So when x is equal...
I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry. I was texting a friend. Shit. I need to mute something. Messages for 1 hour. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back.
Equal to 2, it does not look like f is continuous. So we do not meet
f ain't continuous.
Right, so we can't just directly apply
f
the theorem.
Ain't continuous.
But just because you can't apply the theorem does not mean that the limit doesn't necessarily exist. For example, in this situation, the limit actually does exist. One way to think about it, when x approaches 0 from the left, it looks like g is approaching 2 from above. And so that's going to be the input into f. And so if we are now approaching 2 from above, here's the input into f, it looks like our function is approaching 0. And then we can go the other way. If we are approaching 0 from the right, right over here, it looks like the value of our function is
This is a fumble stream. This is a fumble stream.
2 from below. Now, if we approach 2 from below...
Okay, I get it. I get it. Freaking... It's another video. The internal limit doesn't exist?
Alright, let's get a little more practice taking limits of composite functions. So here, we want to figure out what...
Alright, let's do this ourselves. Let's do this ourselves. First time in this review, we gotta pull out the scratch paper. As x approaches -1. Dude, I'm not looking forward to this thing being on the computer. Why are they making math exams on the computer? It's so stupid. Alright, limit as x approaches -1 of g of h of x. So, first let's check, dude, does it apply? h of x. There's different limits on the left and right. You can't even do it then, can you? I guess that one has different limits too. I don't
As
know
a
if that
limit,
dictates
as
it.
x approaches
I don't know
negative
if that
1
dictates
of
it to.
g of h of
Let's
x.
see.
And the function g,
Let's
we
see.
see it defined graphically here on the left, and the function h, we see it defined graphically here on the right. Pause this video and have a go at this.
I already did.
All right. Now, your first temptation might
possible.
be to say, all right, well, what is the limit as x approaches negative 1 of h of x? And if that limit exists, then input that into g. So if you take the limit as x approaches negative 1 of
He
h of x,
said that
you
like
see
it's
that you
about
have
to
a
be
different limit
wrong.
as you approach from the
What?
right than when you approach from the left. So your temptation might be to give up at this point. But what we'll do in this video is to realize that this composite limit actually exists, even though the limit as x approaches negative 1 of h of x does not exist. So how do we figure this out?
That's great.
Well, what we can do is take right-handed and left-handed limits. Let's first figure out what is the limit as x approaches negative 1 from the right-hand side of g of
Negative
g
2.
of h of x. H
Oh,
of
well,
x.
just h is
Well,
negative
think
2.
about that. What is the limit of h as x approaches
Negative 2,
1
buddy.
from the
Negative
right-hand
2,
side?
negative
So if
2.
you approach negative
Negative
1
2,
from the
negative 2,
right-hand
negative
side,
2,
it looks
negative
like
2.
h is approaching negative 2.
Negative
So
2.
another way to think about it is, this is going to be equal to the limit as h of x approaches negative 2. And what direction is it approaching negative 2 from?
From
Well,
the
it's
right,
approaching
twin.
negative
It's
2
from the
values
right,
larger
twin.
than
It's from the
negative 2.
right. You
h of x
erase.
is decreasing down to negative 2 as x approaches negative 1 from the right. So it's approaching from values larger than negative 2 of g of h of x. G of h of x.
Whoa, 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 hey. Ooh. Okay. I see what he did.
Color coding it to be able to keep track of things.
I don't know why I'm even
And so this is
studying.
analogous
There's
to saying,
genuinely
what
no
is the
point.
limit as, if you think about it,
There's
as
no
x
point in
approaches
studying, bro. I'm
negative
cooked.
2 from the positive direction of g. Here, h is just the input into g. So the input into g is approaching negative 2 from above, from the right, I should say, from values larger than negative 2. And we can see that g is approaching 3. So this right over here is going to be equal to 3. Now let's take the limit as x approaches. So now let's take the limit as x approaches negative 1 from the left of g of h of x. So what we could do is first think about, well, what is h approaching as x approaches negative 1 from the left? So as x approaches negative 1 from the left, it looks like h is approaching negative 3.
It's so boring.
we can say this is the limit as
But I need
h
this.
of x is approaching negative 3, and it is approaching negative 3 from values
From-
greater than
from
negative
the
3.
left.
It's going, h of x is approaching negative 3 from above, or we can say from values greater than negative 3, and then of
On
g
G
of h of x.
H of X.
So another way to think about it, what is the limit as the input to g approaches negative 3 from the right? So as we approach negative 3
I see why my
from
senile
the right,
ass teacher
g
couldn't teach
is
this.
right
This
here
is
at 3. And so this is going
this is
to
not
be equal to
sunshine and
3
cream,
again.
dude. This is
And so
not
notice,
sunshine and
the
cream.
right hand limit and the left hand limit in this case
This is
are
not
both equal to
sunshine
3.
and cream.
And so-
Right, it's another video. External limit doesn't exist.
So over here I have two functions that have been visually or graphically defined. On the left here I have the graph of g of x, and on the right here I have the graph of h of x. And what I want to do is figure out what is the limit of g of h of x as x approaches 1. Pause this video and see if you can figure that out. Alright, now let's do this together. Now the first thing that you might try to say is, alright, let's just figure out first the limit as x approaches 1 of h of x. And when you look at that, what is that going to be? Well, as we approach 1 from the left, it looks like h of x is approaching 2. And as we approach from the right, it looks like h of x is approaching 2. So it looks like this is just going to be 2. And then we say, okay, well maybe we could then just input that into g. So what is g of 2? Well, g of 2 is 0, but the limit doesn't seem defined. It looks like when we approach 2 from the right, we're approaching 0, and when we approach 2 from the left, we're approaching negative 2. So maybe this limit doesn't exist. But if you're thinking that, we haven't fully thought through it. Because what we can do is think about this limit in terms of both left-handed and right-handed limits. So let's think of it this way. First, let's think about what is the limit as x approaches 1 from the left-hand side of g of h
Okay,
of
I
x.
think.
Alright, when you think about it this way.
I think we get it. I think we get it. Oh my god, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. This is horrible. Oh my god, Pix keeps sending me reels, bro. Oh, I sound so nonchalant right now. So nonchalant. Alright. Practice. Which is 2. Oh, it's throwing us right in the deep end here. I hate that I can't like mark this up. Why is the exam going to be on the computer? It makes no sense. No sense. No limit, no problem. Actually, wait. Low key, there is a problem because there's a. Yeah, okay. Now there's no problem. Now there's no problem. Now there's no problem. X approaches 3 on f of x. There's only one value for it. It's -1. Input -1 into that. I should have paid attention. I should have paid attention. I should have paid attention. Shit. You know what? I'm going to have to do a lot of guesswork on the exam, so I think it's about time you get in some educated guesswork. So -1, plug that in. -1 on the y. It's both of those. Coincidence? I think not. So, oh my god! Boom! Boom! Educated guesswork. Alright, here we go. X approaches 1, 1, 0. Plug in 0 for that. Y is 0. It's 3. 3. Oh. Alright, approaches 0 on h of x. Oh god, there's 2. No, I remember you gotta take the left hand and right. So left hand is 1. And it's like a decimal. Alright, just a second. And then from the right is 5. Oh, I'm done with it. Both will be the same. Bailey, hold up. Alright, 5. There's not even a 5. There's not even a 5. Ooh. 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 Oh, bonus question. Hold on, Bailey. There's a bonus question. Hold on, this needs to happen. This needs to happen real quick. Bailey, this needs to happen real quick. Alright, g of x approaches -2. That's only 0 from both ways. So plug in 0 and we have 2 values. Oh my god, I forget what the guy said. I forget what the guy said. I mean, they're going to be different. Oh. Let me open up my BRB screen. We need to get a BRB screen going. Whoa. Whoa. Or do a little bit of BRB. And then let's get some really good clickbait going. Get a pea shooter. Oh yeah. Real good. Alright, we'll be right back, team. I should put that music up. I forgot they even had music. Alright, BRB. We're back. Not for long, though. Not for long. I forgot about something we're going to have to end soon. And I don't think it's even been, like... It's just shy of half an hour. Lesson 6. Here we go. Now we're getting into how to solve limits algebraically.
So let's see if we can find the limit as x approaches -1 of 6x squared plus 5x minus 1.
I think I remember this. I think you just factor. I think you just factor. Let's see what he does, though.
Now, the first thing that might jump out at you is this right over here. This expression could be used to define the graph of a parabola. And when you think about this, I'm not doing a rigorous proof here. A parabola would look something like this, and this would be an upward opening parabola.
Oh, yeah.
Look something like this.
You're so right.
This graph visually is continuous. You don't see any jumps or gaps in it. And in general, a quadratic like this is going to be defined for all values of x for all real numbers, and it's going to be continuous for all real numbers.
I really feel like
and so something is continuous for all real numbers. Well, then the limit as x approaches some real numbers is going to be the same thing as just evaluating
I should keep my mouse over top of the freaking play bar
expression at
the whole
that
time.
real number. So what am I saying?
Just
I'm just
like
going to say it another way. We know that some function is continuous at some x value at x equals a if and only if. All right, that is if or if
back. It's
this
not
is
back.
-5.
It's not back. It's not
So
back.
it's 6.
It's not back. Reconnection not successful at all. Oh wait, no, nope, successful.
Minus 5 minus 1, which is
Exercise. Wait, whoa, hold on. I'm so sorry. I should have finished the video.
which is equal to 0.
So did he just? Whoa, I'm so sorry.
Expression is just the same thing as evaluating this expression.
Be right back.